Everybody welcome, you're hanging out with Ben. This is the Hardcore Punk Project here on the X, 92.5 FM in Kamloops. Today we have Hexenklad, a Canadian folk black metal band from Bancroft, Ontario, originally from Oshawa. Think folk melodies akin to Moon Sorrow, with twin guitar leads like Dissection, the depth of emotion of Primordial, and the overwhelming depth of Insomnium. The live band lineup currently consists of Tim Johnston on vocals, who we have here, and John the Ancient One Chalmers on lead guitar. And he's just invisible.
Like I said, technology.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben, my Windows Defender won't let me use the camera for some reason.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We all know you look like Tom Araya of Slayer.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
The Ancient One has got a voice in my head.
Okay. Thanks for joining me, and how are you doing today?
Good. Glad to be here.
All right. Now, we're going to talk about the new release Heathenheart, which comes out July 23rd on CDN Records, by the way. Keep an eye out for that, listeners. So I'm going to go through this track by track, asking if there's anything interesting or cool about the songs.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Starting out with the title track, Heathenheart. So, does the title of the song mean Heart of a Non-Believer, or does it mean something else?
What it actually means is it's an exploration of the heart of a heathen person. It's not a negative towards anybody. Basically, what it is, an exploration of the empathy that's in a heathen's heart, and how no matter where we are in the world, we are not defined by borders or anything else like that. We are all one people as heathens, and especially in this time when everybody is so separated, this is a song to let everybody know that we are not defined by space. We're all together all the time.
Yep. All right. Some of my folks want to know, in the music video for Heathenheart, because I am of Scottish heritage, is Steve rhythm guitar going commando?
That's actually Michael,
I was right.
the band. And no, he is not going traditional.
Okay, so he is wearing something underneath.
He is. That's not something that any of us wanted to see. And we didn't think that would increase our views.
All right. Same video, live bassist Matt. Does he keep up to the speed of the guitar with just his fingers, or does he simplify his parts to make his playing easier and support the band?
Well, Matt often uses a pick, depending on the different passages and things like that. So when you see him live, you'll notice he's mostly using a pick, and we have no qualms against bassists using picks. I know that can be a touchy subject for some.
Yeah, it's fine.
And he plays what sounds best. He can play extremely fast, but if it's not called for, then he just plays something that makes sense and works with the song.
All right. Next track is Cold Beauty of Winter. What's this song about?
The song is really about being in the heart of winter and listening to the wind and reflecting on one's past, one's ancestors, and just listening in your head for the wisdom that they gave you. That's pretty much what that song is about. And being here in Canada, as you are as well, you understand the absolute beauty of winter. The literal beauty of winter is something that a lot of people in the world don't understand, because they don't have winters like we do. But there's nothing more beautiful than standing outside in the middle of a forest in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
It's absolutely glorious. And in that time, you really can hear on the wind, your thoughts and the people that came before you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the drum beat that opens the song before it comes down is just, it's good.
All right.
It really reminds me of Slipknot in a strange way. Because I think Jay Weinberg's used a similar beat in songs like The Devil and I and Unsainted.
Possible. I don't know, but I'll take it.
Yeah. That's why I call this the Weinberg beat, because he's been known to use this. If you were offered $20 a day, so $600 a month, to put a bumper sticker on your car that says, "I love pop music," would you do it?
No, I wouldn't put any sticker on my car, no matter how much it costs, because that would reduce the resale value. I'm a very
Alright. Track 3, Hugin and Mugen. I don't need to ask about this because it's about Norse mythology, but what made you want to do this?
When I first heard the song, it sounded like flying. The riffs made me think of flying, and immediately came to mind I should do a song about Hunin and Moonin. And then it came together so well that the first time that I wrote the lyrics, they were memorized immediately. So that told me that they were meant to be for that song.
All right.
And what could be cooler than a song about Odin's ravens?
Yeah. Okay, now I decided to switch this up a bit just to include my listeners more into the making of this. I'm gonna be asking some viewer-sourced questions. So if you ever see me ask someone's name, this came from one of my listeners. Okay, first question. Frady, who is a weeb and also my dear friend, shout out to you, Frady. He asks, how did you come up with the name?
That was actually Mike, the founder, that came up with the name Hexenklad. And he had a government job. He quit his government job, sold his house, and bought 55 acres of forest in Bancroft, where he proceeded to build a glorified tent, a yurt to be precise, but it gets cold in the winter. And he escaped city life and became a stonemason. And much of our first album was written by a fire, where Mike had a hammock where he tried to find himself and decompress after living in the city. And that's sort of where he came up with the name, coming from two parts. The hex, meaning curse or magic, and the clad, to be covered in it. So covered by the curse of the city, but also covered by the magic of the forest.
All right. Next song is Dark Moon and Capricorn. This might be one of my favorites because of all the changes. Keeping it unpredictable is key to a good performance. What do you have to say about this one?
I really like this song. I mean, it's a really memorable song. The lyrics were actually written by Michael, which was a really cool thing, because he wrote a lot of the riffs in it, and this song meant a lot to him. It's a song about magic, which is something that he has a great interest in, and it's a really interesting song in the composition of it, and it's one of my favorite tracks as well.
Alright. A lot of the metal artists that I've spoken with have had operatic vocal training or have studied opera. Does this apply to you as well?
No. I appreciate opera. I've been to the opera, but I've definitely not had any kind of vocal training. I just do what comes natural and hope it doesn't suck.
Alright. When we start back our lives after COVID or the new normal, what do you see far as changing as tours?
Whew. That's a tough
Yeah,
one.
it is. The financial viability for a lot of people is going to get harder. The risks associated with tours will be greater because you don't know what to expect from state to state, province to province, country to country. I think it's gonna get a little harder to for a lot of the big tours that we would see stretch across the states and then make their way to Canada. But hopefully there may be things like festivals like can be a bit more of a safer ground for bands to plan to come to. I think it's just going to make it harder for people because it's tough to it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. The next song is Rootbound. You scared me with the sudden transition from a clean intro into those Weinberg beats again.
Yeah, I really like that song. It's a very odd song on the album, and we're a very odd band, so it suits us. It's a bit of a darker song than some of the other ones, and yep.
Now I
Sorry.
see why. Now I see why it says that it's for fans of Opeth, because Opeth has a tendency to do that as well.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
wow, there's a comparison I never thought I'd hear.
yeah. That's different. I mean, I'll take it, but yeah, that's.
I mean, it's your PR guy who said that.
Well, that might be what he thought when he heard it, which is great. It's always great to hear different perspectives. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great. Let's move on. I also hear the release a couple times in the lyrics for this one. So, do you release your aggression through this type of music?
Yeah, it's very cathartic. It's definitely a channeling of emotion, regardless of what kind of emotion, but it's definitely a channeling of emotion, especially with this style of music. It's you're pulling out the beast and letting him free.
Mm-hmm. My opinion, metal is like a needle that plunges deep into the vein of anger and just sucks it all out.
That's a good analogy.
It's a great analogy.
Okay. And are your recordings a representation of your inner feelings?
Yes, absolutely. They're a representation of who we are as people. I would say. We're not doing it for money or fame or anything else like that. We're just trying to express ourselves and our inner being.
Okay. Now on to the next song, The Raven Returns. I like how this song changes again. I like all the changes. How it starts off black metal and some new wave British heavy metal stuff, and then it goes back to black metal. That's a pretty bold move. It's kind of hard to change things often in songs without sounding clunky or too complex. You did it right.
All right, appreciate it.
What can you tell us about this one?
Well, there's a funny little story about this one because Michael brought to me a song and he said, I think you're going to really like this one because it's really depressing and dark. And I know you like that kind of stuff. And immediately what came to my mind was camping. Because this song was actually, to me, the most upbeat, happy song that is on the album because it reminds me of the band. Now we all go camping once a year to a place called the Ravens Knoll, and it's a place where you go to decompress and basically find yourself. There's a lot of heathens that go there, and we do a lot of rituals and things like that. And this song is basically about leaving the city and decompressing on the way to this place that is so much better and what could be rather than what is. And that's what the whole song's about. And that's why it starts off really dark, because it's coming from a really dark place. Because I live in a city and it's a really dark place. And it goes into, this great kind of galloping part where it's just like, yeah, now we're in the middle of a forest among people that we actually like, seeing the beauty of nature and the beauty of what could be. And then at the end, it kind of goes back to, and things fade, and you end up at some point, you're going to have to go back to the city and this concrete jungle that we live in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Where's the weirdest place you've recorded vocals during the pandemic?
Well, actually, we recorded vocals at the Ancient One studio in his basement, so not too weird.
I talked to Mark Jansen from the band Epica a while ago. He said that he recorded his vocals in a walk-in closet.
Well, our vocal booth is a little nicer than a walk-in closet, I'd like to think. It's built, I guess, like a closet if you could look at vocal booths, but it's got all the sound treatment and diffusers and a blue light for mood.
It's literally, yeah, Mark's is just literally a walk-in closet.
Hey, whatever works, man.
Yeah. If you have to record somewhere horrible and cheap, do it.
That's it. Just get it out. Make it happen.
Okay. How would you describe your band as a drink?
Ooh, mead. There. A nice hydromel for those in Quebec, but a nice mead. Good. Fills you up, makes you feel good, but also kind of comes up and kicks you real hard afterwards.
Okay. Next song is 1,000 Paths to Wisdom. There's a lot of songs on this album that start off gentle and then just blast you a couple seconds later. I usually refer to this as the Fight Fire with Fire effect, in reference to Metallica, who kind of popularized it. Because if you listen to Fight Fire with Fire, it's like acoustic guitars and harpsichord, and then all of a sudden breakneck speed electric.
I saw that tour once upon a time when Metallica came to Toronto and opened for Wasp. Yeah, I think we generally you'll notice there's a couple of acoustic songs on the album as well. So we do like to have some acoustic stuff and have some of those gentler moments that when set off against the faster ones, the dichotomy between the two really helps bring out the beauty in the riffs, like the speed. You've got the beauty of the intro for 1,000 Paths, and you've got the breakneck speed, which is just a lot of fun to do.
All right. 10 minutes. Oh, also, this is probably one of the best modern black metal albums I've ever heard.
That's amazing. That's high praise coming from you, so I really appreciate it.
Okay. 10 minutes in a room alone with one of your biggest musical influences. What would you talk about?
Ooh. For me, it would be Alan from Primordial.
Okay.
And I'd probably just have a really long conversation about Irish history, because he knows a lot about it. And, that's kind of my part of my past as well. And I think we just have a really good conversation.
All right. What about you, John?
Wow. Can I be a necromancer and bring somebody back to have a conversation?
Whatever.
All right. Well, I'd summon Randy Rhoads.
Oh.
You probably won't hear a lot of that influence on the Hexenklad album per se, but when I think I was probably 16 or 17 the first time when Randy Rhoads and Ozzy's album, the first Ozzy album came out, and that just
Blizzard of Oz.
Blizzard of Oz was just a huge influence. I still listen to those songs today. And I think I would just want to have a general conversation about like how is Randy finding things traveling the road, and how does he still manage to chill and be himself? I wouldn't want a guitar lesson from him. I'd probably choke too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the solo from Revolution Mother Earth.
Yes, I can rip that one out.
All right. Now, the same artist, if they were to cover one of your songs, which one would it be?
Ooh.
And why?
Oh, there's a rough one.
I'll go first. That I'd probably ask Randy to do Heathenheart, because I know he would throw in all kinds of little tasty things, and I kind of tried to come up with a bit of an 80s kind of solo in it, and I'd love to hear the intricacies that he would work into it.
All right.
Yeah, I'd probably say "Upon the Wings of Valkyries" for Primordial, because Alan has a very emotive voice, and I think he'd bring a slightly different perspective to the song, and I'd love to hear him do it, just because I think he'd do a great job of it, and it would be very meaningful in a different way.
Okay. Next track is Old Gods Awaken. This song made me feel a certain way, because it's so goddamn catchy, even though I haven't looked at the lyrics yet. Once I do, my house is going to be a big party for a week or so. Is the song influenced by John at all? Is he the old god you have awaketh?
Oh, we're like cranky old bastard. But Mike wrote the lyrics on that song. This was really a guitar harmony song. Like, Mike and I are both fanatics about guitar harmonies, like Iron Maiden, Dissection, Insomnium, In Flames, and that was really a big guitar song from that perspective. As far as the lyrics go, that was a Mike song again, and Mike's a little bit more mysterious about what he writes the songs about. So he didn't really say anything to me about what that song was about. I just dove into those tasty harmonies and kept playing through them.
All right. Now, I quote, "Hexenklad was the first ever metal band to perform at the Kaleidoscope Gathering, and while performing on a stage to look like a gigantic raven, lightning shot across the sky out of nowhere. No clouds or rain, just lightning. It was a special night." What the hell is the Kaleidoscope Gathering?
So the Kaleidoscope Gathering is actually at the Raven's Knoll. So that harkens back to the Raven Returns to the Knoll. And it is a large multi-faith gathering that happens in and around Eganville, Ontario. And that's a place where, I've been going for 9 years now. And I normally go for about 2 weeks. So there's a lot of rituals that go on there. There's a lot of lectures, and there's a lot of, huge bonfires and things like that happen there. And they do usually have musical acts, but they're usually acoustic, and they're usually more folk music than folk metal. We're the first ones to actually have plugged-in guitars to play there. So it was a big honor for us to be able to play it in front of all these people that I've known for so long, and to let them know who we are outside of just people who camp there and are one of them.
All right.
That Raven stage was just incredible too. It looks like a giant raven.
Yeah,
Also,
it's incredible.
did you all get as spooked when the lightning just shot across the sky out of nowhere?
No, we didn't even see it. We just everybody in the audience suddenly
It was,
pointed.
it was
Told us
behind us.
it's pretty amazing because I mean there was not a cloud in the sky.
That means Mother Nature is a metalhead too.
Well, you know she is. Got the aggression for it.
Hey, that was a good one too. Oh yeah, here's a joke of my own. What country has the second largest population?
Which one?
Ireland. Every day it's Dublin.
Oh, I think that might count as a dad joke.
Okay, anyways, next song is Beware the Outstretched Hand. This song makes me feel like I've been put in the middle of an occult summoning or some shit like that.
It's actually just a really, really dark song about being betrayed. Yeah, that's probably the dark song on the album.
Alright.
Very cathartic.
Alright. Okay, here's a serious question from another one of my listeners. Sub HD asks, what do you think of selling out and being hated by your original fans?
Selling out is really the only way you sell out is if you're selling out yourself. You know, it's if you're doing something not because you want to, but because of money or for reasons like that. That's really the only way that you sell out. Everybody changes. You know, people change, music changes, musical tastes change. I don't see any problem with that. Bands that get popular usually get popular because they're good.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with getting popular because I'm good. You know, that
Right.
I don't that is selling out.
Alright. Next track is a forest of dead trees. I liked the bass intro. It's good to hear it being showcased for just a moment. The acoustic part was very virtuosic, kinda reminded me of Tribute by Tenacious D, and to top it off, it's a complete instrumental. I'm done. This song is just too good. Ah!
I can't believe you said Tenacious D. That's amazing. I love that song.
That song just came. There was a night when Timothy and Michael and I just sat down in my living room and we just started playing a bunch of different things and we recorded a bunch of different riffs and one of those songs became Valkyries and the other one became Forest of Dead Trees. And you know, we as we passed it around and had other people put their spice on it, that's just kind of what ended up coming out. And we were fortunate enough to have Odeth from Black Empire and Winterfog put down the bass on that one for us, as he did for several other songs on the album. So that was a bit of a treat for us too.
It's just a weird, cool song.
Okay. Zoom is telling me I only have 10 minutes left again, god damn it. But there's only like 3 songs left, I should be able to get through all of them. Next song is Upon the Wings of Valkyries. It's a pretty damn good song. What do you have to say about this one?
Oh, this is probably my most favorite song on the album, but also probably the most meaningful to me. I wrote this with I go with when I go to Kaleidoscope Gathering. I usually go with part of my group are a couple of vets, and this song was dedicated to them, and it was written with them in mind. And it was just an idea that I came across that to show, you know, even though all of your friends have passed and you've survived, that doesn't mean that the Valkyries haven't come for you yet. It just means that they're waiting, and they'll come for you later. And you know, that's really what this song was about. And it was also, there was a woman who was there who had a very hard time finding anybody to train her in sword fighting because she was a woman. And I wanted to have that as part of the song where, you know, at the end, a child's born and she has a really difficult time finding somebody to train her, but she does anyway. And in the end, she hears the same call as her father did, and marches to war. And you know, I just wanted to, I wanted to have that in there because I thought it was important. You know, it's an important.
Are your ancestors Vikings, perhaps?
Yes, some of them were. I mean, I'm a bit of a mix, but there's definitely a large group that are on both sides, in fact. So yeah, I guess you can see that when you look at me.
Yeah, speaking of that, my grandma, when she was over, she said you looked like Stoic from How to Train Your Dragon.
I'll take that. I'm good with that.
All right. Okay. Next song is A Moment of Silence. Oh, that's a Polaris award for sure. A minute of absolutely frickin' nothing. Good job, guys.
It actually goes along with the song before that because it's for vets. There's actually a moment of silence afterwards. So just like in Canada Remembrance Day, so it's legitimately a moment of silence for those who have died, who have passed.
So, and it's a nice space between the very last song, which we had released a year earlier, but we wanted to still include on the album, so that all helped to blend together a little nicer for us.
Okay, I understand why you did this. I think that was a good choice. And the final song is We Raise a Horn. And yes, you should raise thine horn that thou black metal gods Hexenklad. Okay. Can you tell us one thing on your bucket list?
Vulcan.
What?
Vulcan.
I'm not sure that I'm not sure.
Vulcan Metal Fest.
Oh,
in
the
Germany.
Metal Festival. Yes. Yeah. I want to go to Hellfest in France.
Don't get them started.
All right.
My son and I have been to Vakken. It would sure be fun to play a couple of festivals in Europe or just even some gigs through Europe.
All right. All right. Now to end. Just before we go, some more questions from our listeners, and then we'll get to the challenge. Almighty Stranger asks, what's your favorite thing about today's music industry?
The ability to get out to a great amount of people all over the world instantaneously. We have a huge following in Indonesia. How that happened, we have no idea, but that's awesome. And we wouldn't have had that without technology.
All right. Dianam Talukdar asks, what do you think about Gent, the new generation of metal?
I really don't know anything about it, so not much that I can comment. I really only listen to folk metal, so that's my thing.
Okay, that's all right. Rats, enjoyer of shoegaze, asks, what do you think about the new No, not that. What's the first thing you drank after finishing Spirit of the Stone?
The first thing we drank after finishing it?
Yeah, she was very eager to know that.
We actually finished that. Most people won't know this. We finished that album twice.
What?
We finished that album twice. We had finished the album, and the original vocalist and bass player decided he no longer wanted to be part of the project, and he wanted to take his parts with them. So we let him. And that was when we asked Tim if he would, because we wanted to still finish the album, but we had no bass, no vocals, and no keyboards. So we asked Tim to come in and help with the vocals, and the keyboardist Claire, who is worked and works in the studio with us on Heathenheart, she came in and did a lot of the keyboards. And actually, a young gent guitarist by the name of Alex Snape out of Guelph, Ontario, he played bass on that album for us so that we could get it completed and actually launched. So what was drank was probably another Heineken on my part, and Mike wasn't really much of a drinker. And then I think as each person finished their parts, I know I celebrated with Heineken, so there was a few of them.
And the final question from my viewer, Disco Dieter asks, is it fun being in the studio?
Absolutely. I love it. Nothing like it.
All right. Now on to the final question. This is a question that I ask all the bands I've interviewed so far. Will you accept a challenge from me?
Depends on what the challenge is.
The challenge is a cover of the Messenger by Pod.
I have never even heard it.
I don't know what that is.
Pod is a Christian nu metal band.
Oh, Payable on Death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Payable on Death. A cover of their song The Messenger from their album Satellite. Messenger, more like the paganist.
I don't even know that song.
I think John can help you work it out.
I like doing covers.
It's very
even if we only play them once. I'd probably pay good money to see Tim rap. I don't know if I don't know what his fee would be to see him rap, but it would probably be pretty high.
Yeah, I don't do Christian stuff. That's just I just don't. That's yeah, I don't do that.
All right.
Sorry, but yeah, I've never done it. And that's just not something I would do.
Okay. So you have denied the challenge, and that makes you the first band to deny the challenge, which now makes you I'm probably going to reference you in another show.
If you had said pretty much anybody else, I might have.
Yeah, most bands accept the challenge, they just don't do it.
Yeah, but if we say we're going to do something, we actually do it.
All right.
That's the problem.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're actually very low on time here, so I'd like to thank Tim and John from Hexenklad for joining me here on the X. Stay safe and be well.
Stay safe.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
And I'll see you too.
Cheers.
Bye.